Hi, and welcome to Purtis Creek State Park, coming at you from Eustis, Texas.
And Two Tired Teachers. And this is the drive-in. It's just a really pretty drive. And it is in East Texas, and so there are lots of trees, and it's a beautiful, beautiful park. Did have a couple of boaters come in, fishermen. This is a very popular lake. And this just gives you an idea. That's a camping loop, and you can kind of see where that is compared to the day use. Now,
we came in on Thursday,
which is the bottom left here.
And the campground, as you can see, was nearly empty.
And the upper right-hand corner shows you Saturday morning, basically 48 hours later. And no, this didn't line up exactly. I apologize for that, but just gives you some idea. Our Texas state parks are heavily used on the weekends. And so if you're going to be planning to stay at one of the state parks on the weekend, especially spring, summer, fall,
yes,
reservations are
probably about all but 4 sites were taken on Saturday night.
And when we got there, only about 4 sites
yes,
of the 59 that are over on the RV side. And the RV side is across the reservoir there, and this just gives you some idea. It is a gorgeous park, and the sites are well separated.
Yes.
Lots of foliage between the sites, and it's you do have a good sized campsite.
Yes.
And really like this park. It's very pretty. And you can see that well used. Now this is the day use side.
And on the day use side, you have a pavilion that's...
Well, now there's a picnic area here, and the swim
yes,
area you can kind of make out there. And then, yeah, this is a pavilion that can be reserved.
right up here.
And there are about, 4 tent sites? These are tent-only sites.
Yes.
And they were in use this weekend. And this was recorded in April.
Yes.
And so these were in use. And something that I haven't seen many of, if you'll look at that Jeep, I just thought that was really kind of interesting to have a tent on top of a Jeep.
And a ladder on the far side going up to it.
And this was, I don't know if this was a family reunion. I kind of think it was.
Yes.
Just because of, the number of kids and all just running around throughout the area. It's always fun to see. But anyway, this is the day use side, and then just those few.
Did you mention the big swimming area?
Yes.
Okay.
Those few tent camping. Now, fishing piers, there are 2 big fishing piers
yes,
here at Purtis Creek. And then there are several trails.
Yes.
This trail goes back into the primitive camping area. And guys, I want to tell you, if you're staying here, this loops right off of the RV sites, and it's a gorgeous trail.
Yes.
There are 3 bridges out on this trail.
But you said there are no restrooms, water, so take some water in.
Yeah, there's a pit toilet. And Theo and I have hiked this a couple of times, and each time we have seen people with wagons, etc.
Yes.
Now,
how long is the trail?
I believe it's a little over 1.5 miles or something,
okay,
loop, but it's not completely level. So those people generally have a pair of people, one on the front end, one on the back.
Sure.
But anyway, it is a gorgeous, well-shaded trail,
yes,
and this is actually one of the campsites.
Okay.
Because this time we hiked it, I think this was Friday morning, and so we were able to get there before. These fill up. We've been there when every site has been full. And this is Site B, so you can kind of see where that is. All of these primitive sites are lakefront sites. And I was really impressed with how large these sites are, but I kind of wondered, you'd really want a campfire in order to haul your wood back up in there, because you're not supposed to pick up wood here. But anyway, a large tent pad back here in the shade.
That's good.
And a really nice size. And they do have logs arranged at most of these where you can have somewhere to sit. So, Marlena, what are your final thoughts about Purtis Creek State Park?
We absolutely love Purtis Creek State Park. This is not our first time to be here, nor will it be our last.
The first time I came here, a friend of mine and I rode over, and
Rode motorcycles. Yes.
I was so impressed because it looked like every campsite was really pretty well separated from the ones around it. Now, we don't want to tell you that they are all completely secluded and you're not going to see any of your neighbors, because that's not necessarily true. But overall, they are nice, spacious campsites, and you do have...
With enough foliage between to know definitely where your campsite ends and theirs begins.
One thing we do want to mention, though, is while the pads to back in or park on, and these are all back in, are paved, most of them, like ours, was really level left to right and front to back. But there are some over down by the lake where the back end was a lot lower than the front end or whatever. So that is something you want to consider. And the other thing is the campsite is actually behind your RV. The hookups are on the driver's side of the RV, just as you would expect. But the picnic table, the tent pad, and the open area of your campground is probably going to be back behind.
Yes.
I think it is on virtually all of them. And so you want to be aware of that. There is at least one site that is ADA accessible.
Yes.
And things to do here. We have hiked, we've fished, we've had campfires, and just enjoyed not being at work.
A lot of people who have who brought bikes, they've ridden, I don't know how many miles, just through the campgrounds and over to the day use area. And
it is a beautiful park, and like Marlena said, we will be back here again. And now, one thing we do want to mention, and that is we are in Site 59, which is the last one. And the reason we did that is because the road comes in, there's a loop around, and we stayed in that loop last time, the first time that
great site.
It was a great site. It was a beautiful site, and we got here on Thursday that time as well, and Thursday was wonderful, had no issues whatsoever. Friday, not that much, but Saturday night, people driving around to the restroom, walking around to the restroom.
Tents. I mean,
yeah, the tent campers. I mean, we're going to blame them for everything. No. We enjoy the tent campers too.
We were tent campers for
a long time. But there's just the one restroom, and so we opted this time to kind of stay down at the end of this so that we won't have as much traffic.
Everybody going by, just.
But where the restroom is, it seems like most people just make a loop. And it's not one way, but it seems like most people just make a loop. And so that last night seemed to have quite a bit of pedestrian and car traffic going around. And so...
and with the dogs, if they're talking, we might hear a little brrr.
or a big brrr and a bark or two. But anyway, so just wanted to mention that as well. But here we've slept so soundly. It's been awesome. It's been great. And look forward to coming back here again.
Yes.
Thanks for watching Two Tired Teachers.